D&D's class system is okay, but the way I do it is better. In this video, I'm going to discuss how I use a classless system in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition to make the game more fun, more engaging, and more personalized, simpler for you, the DM, and for the players. If you are a parent, a teacher, cool uncle, or just anyone who wants to share this awesome hobby of Dungeons & Dragons with kids, and you think you're ready to level up as a DM, then subscribe to this channel. Either way, let's get to the video. So here's my example of what I do as far as classes. If your heart's set on having classes from the very beginning, from character creation, this is what I have. I have a fighter proficient in all weapons, a rogue proficient in dex weapons, proficient in stealth and sleight of hand. Wizard begins with prestigitation. I've always had a hard time. I call it parlor tricks. Prestidigitation, a mage hand and one spell. And something like a bard, proficient in musical instruments, obviously, performing, and a spell song. You can do that with all the different classes. You know, a barbarian would have like one rage, and rage means this, and blah, blah, blah. But really, to keep it simple, this game is about storytelling and having fun, and a lot of times you will see that a character is good at three things, and so the player will like pigeonhole their character to those three things. You know, get in a fight and it's like the fighter swings their sword. And how many times have you seen that? And the wizard runs out of a spell and it's just like, derp, what do I do? Offensive cantrip, and just blast that way. That can make for boring combat. That can make for boring storytelling. What you want to do is, instead of going like, you're the wizard you are just a character who happens to be good at the mind stat, or your character happens to be good at, stealth and these things, and let that develop. Let them get items that give them skills. Let them have magical items that strengthen those things. Let them get items and potions and different stuff that like can exemplify what they're trying to create. So that's what I suggest, is you do a little bit of homebrewing and make it a lot easier for your players so they can have fun. Maybe put them in a fight from the very get-go where they're a troll or something, and it's coming through the homestead, their farm, and they don't have weapons, or they need to look around and figure out, can I use a plow, or do a strength check, can I use this rake, things like that. Let them use their creativity and just let them create the environment around them. That's why it's better to use a classless system, is that you can give your players more ability to create what they want to do, and you have more ability to create what you want to do as well. So, like always, I suggest you do the 4 stats instead of 6: mind, strength, dexterity, and constitution. At my table, we call it mind, athletics, skill, and toughness. But my kids would also understand the other names for the stats. When I first started playing Dungeons & Dragons with my kids, I tried to use what 5th edition was offering for classes. And a lot of times classes weren't what my kids were expecting them to be, or they really weren't what my kids were imagining. And now that I've started playing with more people, adults who are new to the game, and students and people from other cultures, I've learned that when people hear fighter, a lot of times they're thinking something more like a monk. Or when someone thinks of a sorcerer, they're thinking of something completely different than a wizard, or to them it's just the same exact thing. Or there's a lot of examples, but the way to do classes, the best way to do classes, in my opinion, is to create your own, is really to throw classes out the window. Let your characters be good at what you want them to be good at and what they want to be good at, and then give them weaknesses and things that they're not as strong at, and you can kind of balance the game in that way and move on. So the point is to have fun. The point of the game is to make a story. The point of the game is to develop this character, which is organic and feels real and feels like something the player wants to play. So there's a lot of different ways of doing that. Games have done that for everywhere and forever, But what I suggest you do is not use classes. If you use classes, make it very simple, and just ask your players what they want to do, what they want to have, and use skills and use items to give them those abilities. There's two things I want to say before I move on. Two things. First is, this whole YouTube thing is new to me. So my ability to speak on camera, my video production, you know, it's new to me. And this is like video 5. Maybe I'll be great at this by video 99. But really, just as this practice and this is something I want to do. So I appreciate all the support and positive interaction I've had, and that's pretty much all I've received so far. But I just imagine me as like someone who's cruising through YouTube looking for content. I would look at this and be like, what, this guy, is this amateur hour? And the answer is yes, this is amateur hour. And I don't have any lofty goal of like doing this professionally. I just want to share what I like to do, because I see so many people trying to find systems or trying to rig Dungeons and Dragons to fit a younger demographic, and this is my suggestions for that, because I've been doing this for years. And instead of teaching them this complex system, I say we simplify it. And anyway, this is my advice to the world. And let them be an archer, or let them be a someone seeking revenge can be a class. You know, let them call their character what they want and develop their character however makes sense. And you don't really have to worry about balance. I'm going to talk about that in another video, but there's other ways to balance to having every character exactly the same. Because sometimes when you're working with like younger siblings or kids with just less of ability, less comprehension and focus, you don't want to put a ceiling on someone else's character, especially when they've been working hard to develop, and because this person's ceiling isn't as high, or they're just like not ready to have like more skills and abilities. There's other ways of balancing besides having the equal classes. So that's my advice, and that's my advice on what to do with classes.
If you enjoyed this video, I want you to hit the like button. If you didn't enjoy this video, I want you to hit the dislike button. Either way, it's cool. You can be a jerk if you want. If you leave any comments, I will reply to it. As always, you can email me at shepherdknightley@gmail.com. I'll reply to that as well. I'll see you in the next video, and until then, fight the good fight.